Do you want to sell a software? Do you want to create monthly recurring revenue and then sell that software for a multiple? Where, for example, you can build up a business that's generating $100,000 a year, $8,300 a month, and be able to sell that business for an extra 200 grand, an extra 300 grand. It's possible today with software, selling SaaS. Now, SaaS is software as a service. And in this video, I'm gonna share with you exactly how to set your business up to prepare to be exited, to be sold. I'm here at my gym doing a workout. I'm doing squats, doing battle ropes, chest flies. I got my jump rope back there on this water heater thing. And as I was here, I was having a conversation with someone who works very closely to investors. And they've done over 150 transactions, and we were discussing about selling software as a business and the value of selling software and the opportunities that's with selling software. But most importantly, how today you can actually do this as a starter if you just know the right route. Most people today are selling websites and selling services where they're selling websites or building out automations, and they don't have a business that's actually scalable or sellable. Just right now, I'm acquiring businesses, and I've acquired some businesses, and I'll share with you the perspective of an investor, right? I'm looking at different businesses today, some businesses that are upwards of $3 million a year, businesses that are doing 6 figures a year in EBITDA, which just means essentially gross profit, and so many other smaller deals that I'm also looking at today. Some businesses are doing 100 grand a year. Some businesses that we're looking at in our portfolio to bring into our portfolio are doing under 6 figures a year. But it all starts off with some basic economics. And in today's video, I'm gonna share with you some of those basic economics but most importantly, how you can prepare your business to be sold and the opportunity with your business to be sold. So the first thing, and I'm gonna make this video quick here because I gotta get back to my workout. The first thing is you want to have a business that is not dependent on you as the owner, that your business can run without you. I know for me in my business, I'm the face of my business, and I speak on stages to acquire customers. And I remember a couple of years ago, I was thinking to myself, who would buy a business if I were to sell this, if I want to turn this into an asset? Who would buy a business that is dependent on Andy showing up on stage, right? No one's gonna be interested in buying a business that have Andy show up on stage. And the same thing goes with you. It actually decreases your valuation. One of the businesses that we're looking to add to our portfolio, the owner, the founder, his face is everywhere. His face is everywhere, and because of that, it makes the business just a little bit less valuable because we know that we have to replace somebody, and you can't replace a human when their customer is in love with someone's likeness, right? It's hard to replace that human. One of the things that I love about High Level as a software that creates, if you are familiar, one of the platforms that you can create a valuable software business is a software called High Level, where you can white label that software and then sell it to customers and then actually sell the monthly recurring revenue of that business as a multiple to a buyer. And there's benefits and disadvantages, and I'll share with you some of those benefits and disadvantages in this video if you are a high-level reseller or if you are interested in selling high-level. Now, high-level is a CRM, but before I go into that, let me just tell you about the business with your face. You want to take your face out of the business and have the business be able to acquire customers without you even having to be present. Now, I'm gonna share with you some tips on how to do that. Now, let's go back to the point that I was making about if you want to sell software and create a business and sell it for a multiple. The value of selling a company for a multiple is that you can take your hard work and you're building this invisible equity. So if you build a business today, and let's say that you get just enough customers, let's say you get 20 customers that are paying you $500 a month, which is $10,000 in monthly recurring revenue. And now that 20 customers that's paying you, let's just use that as an example. Now, I am not a broker. I'm not a merger and acquisition broker. I've acquired companies. And I will share with you that some of the things that I'm sharing with you is all for educational purposes. Just in case the Securities and Exchange Commissions or the FTC is watching this, this is going to be, just so we're on the same page, this is educational purposes only. Now, let's just use an example. This is a hypothetical example where if you have 20 customers that are paying you monthly, $500 a month, And those 20 customers, a buyer wants to get into an industry that those 20 customers are in. Let's say that this 20 customers is in a specific vertical, and it's hard to get those type of customers. And those 20 customers are paying you, and they're very likely to pay you for the next few years. So those 20 customers are paying you every single month, and we can see that those customers are very likely to pay you over the course of the next couple of years. And on top of that, that's called churn. Like they're very likely to be retained, where they're gonna be paying you every single month. And in that scenario, if I as a buyer can almost predict that customer, those 20 customers are gonna pay you for the next 3 years, then would it be worth it if I pay you an entire year worth of revenue? So meaning I give you $120,000. Could it be worth it? Possibly, maybe, and most likely, yes. Because if I have money in the bank that's just sitting there, there's no return coming on this money. There's no return. If anything, it's losing value because it's sitting in the bank. It's just chilling there, and with inflation, it's losing its value. And I have $120,000 just sitting down in the bank. Every year that passes by that 120 grand is sitting in the bank, it becomes less valuable. But what would be a smarter decision for me as a buyer would be to say, hey, you have a business that's making $10,000 a month, and we can tell it's probably gonna be paying you $10,000 a month for the next 2-3 years. I'll be willing to pay you for the whole year up front, 120 grand, and capitalize on that profit after on the 13th month, right? After a year, I get back my 120, put it back in the bank, and now your company that I now own is paying me every single month an extra 10,000, extra 10,000, extra 10,000, extra 10,000. So now I get to experience profit in year 2, year 3, and so on and so forth. And it makes it tremendously valuable for me, even more valuable for me, if let's say I can add on additional services or additional products for those 20 customers that increases the monthly recurring revenue, or even if I have another business that adds value to that company, to your clients, your 20 clients, and I can make money from them elsewhere. So let's just use High Level as a software as an example here. And here's what I'm gonna share with you about why I'm gonna use High Level as an example. Because if High Level, the software High Level, you can take that software and sell that software to almost any business. And with that being said, it's white labeled, so you don't actually have to build the software. All you need to do is get the customer, market to the customer, sell the customer, onboard those customers, retain those customers, and have an infrastructure that can scale without you being present. So in a scenario, if you can get 20 customers, I'm just using this as a hypothetical scenario. If you get 20 customers, you can then take those 20 customers and actually go to a buyer. Like for example, I'm a buyer, and someone will buy out those 20 customers from you, and then they can say, hey, I'll pay you 120 grand because we can predict that these customers are so sticky. Like they're actual business owners, they have a need for the software, they generate a profit, and they use the software as their core nucleus of their business, meaning as long as that business is open, it's very likely that they're gonna continue to pay you that $500 a month, and it's 20 of them. I'll possibly come to you and I'll say, hey, I'll pay you $120,000 for those customers. But think about it from your perspective. That's only literally 20 customers that it took from you. Your business is making 10 grand a month, but that 10 grand, if you had 120, you may have the skills to go and take $120,000 and go multiply it and make it into 1.2 million. So rather than you waiting 3 years to make that amount of money, or rather than you waiting a whole year to make 120,000, and that's only revenue, you can jump the journey and sell the company and then sell it to somebody else. That's the opportunity of selling a business. That's the value of selling a business. And it's possible for anyone to go ahead and do that. And the one I suggest is gonna be the software High Level. You can take High Level's platform, white label it as your own, meaning you put your own brand on it. And then now that you have your own brand on it, you can then sell that software to small businesses and they can pay you monthly. Now, High Level is known by millions. There's actually over 2.5 million businesses that use that software today. Now, that is still a small portion of the SMB market, the small business market. In the United States alone, just in the United States alone, there's over 29.2 million businesses that could find some type of value in using High Level's technology. So that means you're talking about, what is that? Less than 1% of businesses are actually using high levels infrastructure. So that means you can be a reseller and you can sell that software to small business owners, gain customers, and when you gain customers, actually I did the math wrong. It would be 10% of 29 is going to be 2 point. So less than 10%, which is still huge. There's still a huge demand for it. There's still a huge market for you to get. And if you just get a sliver of the market, I'm talking about a small sliver. I just showed you an example with 20 customers. 20 customers, how you can build up your valuation for a business, sell it to a buyer who has value for that customer base, and they know how to expand the monthly recurring revenue. So to them, it's like, yeah, I'll pay you 120 grand. And the reason they pay you 120 grand is because they're gonna take those customers. Within a year, they'll make their money back, worst case scenario. But realistically, they might be able to do that within 6 months because they have the strategies and the infrastructure. Many times, if they can pay you 120 grand, they probably have employees, they probably have staff, they probably have resources that they can give more value to those customers and turn a $500 customer into a $1,000 customer, right? Or even a $1,500 customer. And then they have additional services that they could probably add on to those clients who within 6 months, they can pull in their 120 grand and they're like, hey, in 6 months, I made back my 120 grand and then you got your 120 grand. Rather than you waiting a year and trying to make the 120 grand, you get it upfront. And then them, as the buyer, they're off to the races and they're acquiring more customers and so on and so forth. But how do you do that? What do you need? Number one, you're gonna need a marketing system. You're gonna need a marketing system. You're going to need a marketing system that allows you to get customers and get leads without you having to be the face. It's quite challenging for some. This is why it becomes valuable if you have a system for someone to buy. So you're gonna need a marketing system. One of the strategies that you can do is you can have webinars being held on autopilot to gain subscribers without you having to be present, or without you having to sell. So that goes to show your buyer, when you present it to your buyer, you're gonna let them know like, hey, I have a system to sell customers and acquire customers without me actually having to be there. I pre-record these webinars and then I can do the webinars, but meaning you could do the webinar, but then you also have other people doing the same webinars. They follow your script, they have your PowerPoint presentation, and they're selling subscribers without you having to be present. So you're telling your buyer, hey, anybody can essentially sell my version of the software, right? So you're gonna need a marketing system to market to customers to generate leads. And then the selling system is gonna be the system of hosting the webinars and getting people to actually convert on the webinars. Then you're gonna need an onboarding system. That onboarding system is gonna be the process on how do you get customers to sign up with you and stay with you, right? To onboard them. Now, after they're onboarded and they're starting to use the technology, you're gonna need a retention process. And that retention process is what keeps those customers paying month over month. Because a buyer is not gonna be interested, definitely won't be interested in a business that if they come in to purchase from you and they pay you 120 grand, they need to know that they can predictably get back their 120 grand, whether in 6 months or a year. They wanna know that they can predictably get their 120 grand. So if they come to you and they look at your business and they say, well, I see that customers come and then they leave. You don't have a process to retain customers. So because of that, I can't give you 120 grand because it looks to me like your customers may leave next month or your customers may leave the month after. So because of that, instead of you getting 120 grand, you end up getting less. And you don't want to get less, you want to get the maximum value. So if you have a retention system, all of that adds value to the buyer. So this is how you can take a business that's generating 10 grand a month, sell it for 120 grand. So marketing system, it cannot require you. Selling system, cannot require you. Now you can start to build in it and your face can be a tool to help get customers, but it can't be 100% dependent on you. So marketing, selling, then onboarding. You need a process to onboard those customers. Then retention. You need a process to retain those subscribers. If you have this inside of your business, that gives your buyer confidence. And you give them the documentation. I'm talking about to the point where they walk into your business and you're like, here's a documentation on how we sell. And it's like videos and documents and PDFs exactly how to sell, what to say, how to say it, and so on and so forth. Onboarding, exactly what to say, how to say it, how to set it up, the automations, what it looks like. The retention, exactly what to do, how to say it, how long the retention journey is, what you do to retain customers that are 60 days in versus what to do to customers who are 70 days in versus how you retain customers that are 120 days in, and what to do along the journey after 120 days. If you have that documented, a buyer is gonna say, hey, you tell me I don't have to figure it all out? That's when it starts to add up valuation. Where instead of a $10,000 a month business being only worth $5,000, which some people have sold their business for $5,000, but they're already making $10,000 a month. Instead of it being that scenario, making it on the higher end worth $120,000, which is a whole year of revenue, it's gonna be how easy can an investor step in, run your business, make their money back, and be profitable. How fast is it? If they're uncertain and they're like, when it might take 2 years, it might take 3 years, I'm uncertain, then they're not gonna wanna buy it for full price. But if they are certain that, hey, you have all your documentation set up, that means an investor can just put a random person in the position and run your business without you being there. That's very valuable for them. That becomes a huge asset for them. So if you want to set your business up this way, I invite you to schedule a call with a member of my team that can prepare, especially if you sell high level as a software or you're interested in selling high level as a software. Down below around this video, you're gonna see a link to schedule a call with a member of my team. When you go to that link, you'll schedule on that call and tell them where they're currently at, and they'll come up with a game plan to prepare your business to be valuable for some type of exit. Whether you want to merge with another company or you actually want to be acquired by another company, especially if you are interested in creating monthly recurring revenue for yourself first. And then when you create enough monthly recurring revenue, you take that monthly recurring revenue, you go to a buyer, I might be one of your buyers, and then there's a tremendous amount of buyers that are in the marketplace, and then you sell your business to a buyer and you take a big leap. This is how, when you see people who are super wealthy and they operating businesses, many times what they're doing is they start a business, set up the infrastructure, make it valuable for another buyer, and then they take that jump. So you can have a business, get up to your first 20 customers, and then boom, sell it for 6 figures if it's done correctly. Now, am I promising you that it's gonna be sold for 6 figures? Definitely not. Is it possible? It definitely is. But you have to set up your business correctly in order to make that a reality. Actually, most people don't operate their business to be set up for 6 figures or to be sold in general. Most entrepreneurs set up their business to just make ends meet in their home. Like they look at their home and they're like, I just want to make enough money. And they miss out on the opportunity to exit. Actually, that happens to most of America, most entrepreneurs. So if you are an entrepreneur and you sell software or you want to sell software, and at one point you want to sell it for a multiple, schedule a call. The link will be around this video. Schedule a call with a member of my team so that way they can share with you the strategies on how to maximize your current infrastructure and sell it for a multiple. I'll see you on the next video.